Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Denise, how are you?
I'm good, Becky. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. And hello, LinkedIn community, and also our Empowered Entrepreneurs Sell More community.
Mhm.
This is Becky Davidson, and I'm here with Denise Klein, and we are going live. And it's been a couple weeks since I've done a live here, and I'm doing another one tomorrow. So I'm doing two back to back.
Nice.
You might be seeing me more frequently because I have a whole bunch of interviews that I have lined up to do to promote and support. And I'm really excited to introduce and interview Denise today. You're going to, I think, get a lot out of her. Of course, I'm a sales trainer and I teach people how to convert and to prospect, take people from cold to sold. And what I love about what Denise does is she helps that process out.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, she helps the nurturing, the communication. And so we're going to talk about the technology
Yeah.
part of the sales process and how that can work alongside someone like me or skill that you might have. But for
Mhm.
those of you that don't know me, I am Becky Davidson. I'm the founder of a group called Empowered Entrepreneurs Sell More. And I am all about helping small business owners grow their business, attract more customers, and have more success and revenue in their business. And so I love to interview people like Denise that can bring value, that can offer value added
Mhm.
services, because as a business owner, we have all these things that we
Yes.
have to manage and know how to do. We have to know how to sell and market and technology and
Mhm.
all the things. And none of us are experts at everything. We're experts on the thing that we're good at. And so we need great people like Denise and hopefully like myself. We need great resources that can help us. And
Mhm.
so I love to showcase people like Denise. So Denise Klein is the CEO of Sproutware,
Mhm.
and she creates marketing systems for entrepreneurs. And we're
Yeah.
going to talk today about tech and sales and converting. And
Yeah.
so, hey, Denise, so glad to have you.
Thank
Happy
you.
Thursday.
Happy Thursday, and thank you for having me. I love coming on and spending time with you. And I have to say, because of course you and I work together, you're my sales coach, and through a lot of what I learned working with you is some of what I put into this system to give us more structure. Because for a lot of us, sales feels icky, and so anything we can do to remove the friction is a good thing.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. And, I know sales does feel icky to some people, but really, I work with hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs, and every entrepreneur is passionate about what they do. They love what they
Yes,
do, and they just want to serve people. That's what they
exactly.
want. They don't
Mhm.
want to have to sell or convince. They just want to serve people in that
Exactly.
their lane of expertise.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, if you want to serve people, you do have to sell. You do have
Mhm.
to showcase what you do. You do have to build awareness, build interest, and
Mhm.
get seen and heard and people to know what you
Exactly.
do.
Yes, exactly. And
And
there's lots of different pieces of that. And for me, when I started my business, I didn't start off, owning a software company, sales and marketing company. I'm actually not a salesperson. We've had that conversation before too. I'm a teacher. And so when I started my business, I was working with entrepreneurs and I was doing like VA kind of things. And then I started picking up pieces of technology and I could see right away these people are so passionate about taking care of their customers, but a lot of times they get slowed down by the tech, for example,
mm,
and not knowing how to talk to a customer, not because they don't understand,
yep.
marketing and stuff. And so I set out to sort that out for myself and then help others do exactly the same thing.
100%, 100%. So I've been in sales for 40 years. And when I started in sales, I was typing on a typewriter
Mhm.
with correction tape. So
Right.
that was where I was at. We didn't have social media. We didn't have all
No,
these fancy CRMs.
no.
I had an index card file, a
Yeah,
Rolodex.
yeah,
That was our filing system.
yeah.
And boy, has things come a long way. And and I think there's people that are techie and there's people that are not so techie. There's people that have the gift for gab, and people that aren't as good in that area. And I think they tend to, like salespeople, have a tendency to not be super techie.
Mhm.
Techie people have a tendency to not be super,
That's true.
gift for gab type people. But
Mhm,
together, if you can get the sales component, the communication skill,
mhm.
and the technology, the beauty of technology, it can help you get your message out quicker, faster to multiple people.
Absolutely. And you're exactly right. Things have certainly changed. I was joking with someone yesterday that, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. Back, and business is
Back
just
in the day.
back in the day. But it used to be if you had a business, you have maybe a brick and mortar store, you hang out your shingle, put an ad in the yellow pages and go networking. And it's just so different now. But one thing I don't think has changed at all is that business is a relationship. You're looking to
Yeah.
build relationships and connections because you have obviously potential clients, but then opportunities for collaboration like we've never had before. And so while
Mhm.
technology can be daunting, you just can't have a business now without integrating some level of technology. And my goal is, to make that as easy as humanly possible on my clients.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I started my business 3 years ago this month, when with Becky Sales Training, I remember I was like, "Well, are you building a list? Are you building a list? Are you building? You have to build a list. You have to build a list."
Mhm,
And so that's just part of it, knowing how to uh, not only
mhm,
sell,
mhm.
but most people you don't meet, hold a presentation, and they buy.
Yeah.
You meet, you hold a presentation, they have to think about it. It's not the right time.
Mhm,
It may be 6 8 months until they're
mhm.
ready to buy. And so, how are you communicating with that person in that 6 to 8 months?
Yeah.
How are
Yeah.
you staying top of mind? How are you keeping track of your communication with that person? And that's where technology comes in and embracing it.
Absolutely. I was talking to someone recently, and we were both lamenting, perimenopause. Our things get foggy. I'm just saying, and so
Right.
but we should never be relying on our memory to try to follow up because we just get busy. Like you said earlier, we have so much to do as business owners, and if we rely on memory, well, you can't
Mhm,
really
mhm.
rely on memory. At least not my case.
Right. Well, and I know for myself as a sales trainer, I mean, I'm not going to teach anyone technology.
Mhm.
However, I
Mhm.
learned very quickly that if I did not embrace technology, I would be falling behind.
Mhm.
I would be missing the boat
Mhm.
because the modern, age salespeople, they want technology. They want that to be a piece of how they build a business. And
Yeah.
so I think it's really important for us to embrace it, whether
Mhm.
you're old school or not.
Mhm.
Um, you have to use it to a certain degree, the whether it's some type of calendar,
Mhm.
system,
Yep.
a lead generation tool that attracts those leads. And so
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that you can use. So I had some questions for you, and I wanted to kind of learn a little bit more about your business and
Okay.
showcase what you do specifically. But of course, your name is Sproutware. I'm always curious. I think that's a really cool, fun name.
Thank
But
you.
how did you decide, and what does that signify? What does Sproutware mean to you, and why did you name it Sproutware?
Really, I'm a growth-centered person. I'm all about growing, and, when, even before I started Sproutware, I was doing like I said, I was a virtual assistant. I was doing all this tech stuff before I actually officially launched Sproutware, which is just past 2 years at this point. Um, but I wanna help people grow. I used to be in real estate and mortgage for many years, and I was always supporting, the salespeople and the owners and building departments. It was all about growth then. When I was a teacher, it was all about growth then. And so, that's just such an important thing to me. And ChatGPT and I sat down and we brainstormed and we came up with Sproutware. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's it. That was
That
done
is
deal.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And so I know that you have a system,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of pieces to the system.
Mhm.
And I know sometimes when you have someone that gets started, all those pieces get very confusing and daunting and overwhelming. And the desire is, and I think we're all on the receiving end of technology and automation.
Absolutely.
If you've ever opted in for an email freebie type thing,
Mhm.
you have experienced automation. And I think as a consumer that has experienced it, sometimes we look at it and go, oh, wow, that's so great. That's so beautiful. And it's just,
Mhm.
humming along like perfect, and we feel like it should come to us quicker, faster. It should be within a couple days, put it all together, plug and play, off we go, right?
Yeah. Well,
And
in a perfect world, yeah.
in a perfect world, right. But so tell us a little bit. So I want to know, like, what are the things that your system takes care of?
Okay.
What are some of the things? And then maybe, if someone's starting and, like, hey, yeah, you could have it all done, but what are the things that, like, where you would recommend someone maybe getting started?
Gotcha. So yeah, so the platform that I have called Sproutware, it's a white label version of High Level or Go High Level. And some people have heard of that and some people haven't. But High Level is the number one sales and marketing platform in the world. But agencies like mine can white label it. And I tell people all the time, you could go to High Level right now and get an account for $97 and it's empty. And bless them, their customer service leaves a little bit to be desired. And it does everything. That's the thing. It's an all-in-one business building platform. And so we could do, everything from booking appointments, so all unlimited numbers of calendars, to websites, sales funnels, courses, communities. We can really do. We can have a phone system in there, and so it really is like drinking from a fire hose. And so to help my clients manage that fire hose, our Sprout and Scale system is our system that is pre-built for our clients, and we have our onboarding is they would have their system up and running in less than 30 days. So they don't have to be the ones in the system trying to figure out what the automations are. We already have that built out for them. And that core covers three systems. So it covers a sales system, a service system, and a scale system. So the sales system is, we want to capture those leads. So, a lead magnet funnel. Then we have a sales pipeline. So we're tracking, where are your leads coming from? How are they converting? And as I mentioned earlier, we're very relationship focused. And so when you get a lead, let's reach out to that person. Let's have conversations. Let's ask them questions, and make sure that you understand who they are. You're not necessarily selling, you're just having those conversations and building that relationship all the way through, booking that client. One of my favorite parts of our little sales part of the system is we have what we call a discovery call warm-up sequence. So when
Mm.
someone books a call with you, their open rate for your emails are over 90%. And that's a wonderful opportunity to send them a video explaining who you are, what you do, and say, just to save us time on the call, so we can just focus on you. Watch this video and you'll have an idea. You can handle objections. You could give them case studies, those kinds of things before you ever even get on the
Mm.
discovery call. So we do all these little things in here that are strategy around the sales and the marketing, because like I said, I'm not a salesperson, but because I understand my clients and I have this system, it just makes it so much easier. So by the time they get to me, they're warm and it's just
Mm.
an easier conversation all the way around. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a big
I
system.
mean, I do have to say I'm embracing it more and more,
Mhm.
or I
Yeah.
have embraced it more and more,
Mhm.
because prior to, having my own business in my sales career, most of my selling was having a calendar, going out, talking to
Mhm.
people, calling people, putting it
Mhm.
on the calendar, maybe sending an email, "I'll see you on Tuesday,"
Mhm.
and that was it. I would show up on Tuesday, we'd have our meeting, and we'd go from there. I'd maybe send a follow-up email after.
Mhm.
And now, you know, you have your lead magnet or you're something that grabs their attention,
Mhm.
it sends them a little email, it encourages them to book, it
Yeah.
talks to them, you can share the video like you said,
Mhm.
and you wake up and you have appointments on your calendar.
Mhm.
And they're warm appointments on that are coming
Mhm.
to you because
Exactly.
they have been watching your content, they've been, absorbing it.
Mhm.
And then once they book, it's going to remind them like, "Hey, oh yeah, I can't wait for our appointment on
Mhm.
Tuesday. Here's a
Mhm.
quick little video, this little bit about me, or here's a case study from one of my clients." So
Yeah.
again, it's warming the people up to the
Exactly.
sales call.
Mhm.
Or if they don't buy, you're
Mhm.
gonna keep warming them up,
Yeah,
keep
because we
talking to
said that we have a whole follow-up system, after the discovery call in case because, like you said, some people just need to think about it. And so the follow-up after that is, again, handling those objections, sharing the story of a client win, those kind of things. Again, just make sure they understand you can solve their particular problem. Another part that we do in our sales system is a networking pipeline, because a lot of my clients, the vast majority of my clients, get a lot of business from networking. I know you are a connector, and most of the time they have, a stack of business cards, or even if they put them in their CRM, nothing ever happens with it. And so our networking pipeline sends emails to have them book one-to-ones. And then there's a whole system. Once you've had that call, when do you want to reach out to them again? And we can set reminders. And so that just happens. So you can get those, nurture those relationships as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there an easy way? Because I have lots of business cards. I do a lot of in-person networking, so I have a few business cards on my desk,
Right.
and this is just a small portion of them.
Mhm.
But is there a way to scan the card
Mhm.
and then get it added to your CRM?
Yeah, we have an app that goes right on the phone, and frankly, it can do a lot just on that app. So you could send invoices and things. But yeah, you can. It does have a scanner, so you could scan your business cards to have it put right into your CRM, and then you can tag them as networking, and then that email goes off. Say, hey, I would love to book a one-to-one with you sometime. So yeah.
Got it. Okay, what if you've already booked a one-to-one? I guess you have to put that little note in there. I mean, you
Yeah,
know,
you could do that
okay.
too. Yeah, our in the CRM, we have a whole section, so each contact record is pretty extensive, and so you can keep track of any notes, any of that those kind of things right in all in one spot.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Mhm.
I have all these cards, these wonderful cards for my networking. And
Mhm.
I actually, great, they all know me. And I messaged my VA, said, hey, if I screenshot pictures of these cards, can you
Mhm.
add them to my CRM? She's like, oh, yeah, I can totally do that.
Mhm.
Now, before I start an email sequence to people, because
Mhm.
I mean, normally when they opt in, they're basically acknowledging that they're
Right.
okay to get emails from me.
Yeah.
So how do if I all of a sudden start emailing, is that a no-no?
Yeah, I would not put them on a marketing list, but I
Okay,
think it's different if you're sending them a one-off email that says, "Hey, I would love to book a one-to-one," and then they can, so that they're not on your marketing list. They're in your CRM, but we can go into your CRM and we can have, we segment your people, so you can have a networking list that's completely separate from your marketing list. But yeah, I would not just add them directly to your marketing
okay,
list.
okay. How many segmented lists do you have?
Um, I probably have 7 or so, because I have, like, I send, newsletters and information to my clients, but then I also send newsletters outside. So it depends, and we create them for, lots of different reasons. But, like, I have a specifically an email marketing list, and then I have, I because I have so many coaches, I actually have a coach list. And so but you can really segment to whatever degree that you want to.
So if someone is using another service, which tell us a little bit about, why go high level? I mean, I know there's some big companies that are a little bit more pricey,
Mhm.
or I find that a lot of people are probably using kind of a patchwork.
Sure.
I call
Vast
it the
majority.
patchwork,
Mhm.
because they're using maybe 5 or 10,
Mhm.
services to do what you do. Give
Mhm.
us some idea why, it's so advantageous and cost effective
Mhm.
to really work with Go High Level and have that all-in-one system kind
That
of
is
put
a
together.
wonderful question. So you're right. When you have all these different pieces of technology, the price does add up. And I have one client that she was spending over $700 a month on her tech stack, and she'd never really set it up. And so it really wasn't doing anything for her. She was an example of, her tech was making her crazy. It wasn't making her money. And so we're trying to switch that around. But that is a problem. Number one, people complain all the time, just they're logging in and out of things all day long. But one of the things that is wonderful about having it integrated. So for example, you have your lead magnet and stuff come in. now that's on your list. One of the things we have is engagement scoring. So we can actually score someone, so we can give them points when they sign up for a lead magnet, when they open an email, when they click an offer, when they come to one of your events, because we have the sales pages and the calendars, everything in one system. We can actually measure those touches. Back in the day, back when I was in real estate, my broker would tell me, it would be 6 or 8 touches with someone before
Right.
they're warmed up and ready to purchase. And now it's more like 20. And really, depending on your industry, it can be more than that. So this is a way to make sure we're engaging with people that are engaging in our products and in our emails and in our marketing. And so I don't know of another, MailChimp doesn't allow you to do things like that. One of the things that I think people get really frustrated about their marketing or whatever not working is because they're not measuring. They're not measuring what's working. And so our system is completely set up to be able to say, okay, this is what kind of engagement we're getting. This is what kind of open rates we're getting and all of those things. So we can start making decisions based on data, and not just guessing.
Right. Yeah, and I do know that touch points are really, really, really important in a client journey. And I've shared this story, but I had one day I was leaving my in-person networking. I got a text from someone,
Mhm.
and she said, I'm struggling. I didn't even know who it was because she wasn't in my phone, but she texted me, I'm having trouble closing sales. Can you help me?
Mhm.
And I was like, well, who is this? And going back and forth, I realized I met her on an online networking,
Mhm.
connected with her on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
invited her to my Facebook group. That got her into my email list. She
Mhm.
opted into my email list. She started getting emails.
Mhm.
And so I was nurturing through the emails, and she got my phone number off my email, text me, and
Mhm.
then we booked an appointment, and the rest is history. And
Yeah.
it's just funny how that journey kind of
It really
unfolds.
does. Yeah, people are finding you in different ways, and one of the nice things about our system is, for example, if you do a lot of stuff on Facebook or Instagram, for example, our system will actually connect to those DMs, so those conversations can be had right inside of the system. Your email conversations can be had in. I have a phone number in my system, that's an optional thing, but so if the person had texted and they were in my CRM, I would know exactly who they are, and I have a whole record. And so you can really watch those touch points and where they're coming from, and just knowing where your clients are coming from. I mean, a lot of
Right.
people don't necessarily know, and so yeah, that's great
Okay.
information to have.
Yeah. So I'm curious, that person that had 7 things in her tech stack
Mhm.
that were all the patchwork type
Mhm.
stuff, that, now if she converted over to go high level,
Mhm.
about how long would it take her
Mhm.
to convert that $700 of tech stack
Mhm.
expense over to go high level and have it all up and running?
Okay, so the vast majority of our core sales system setup would cover pretty much everything she had in her stack, and so 30 days or less is we can have that up and running. It will take a little bit longer. For example, if they also need a full website or they need a sales funnel, that can take a little bit longer. But once they get everything to us, really, our team is very efficient, and we know time is money, and we
Okay.
know that weeding through and trying to do that, so we do all of that for them. So for example, they would send us their um, uh, like a CSV of all their contacts, and we clean that list, we segment that list, we put everything in for them, we build their calendars, we build all the stuff. But yeah,
Okay.
30 days or less.
Wow, that's pretty darn good.
Mhm.
What would you consider an effective sales funnel? What does that look like? I mean,
Well,
like, I mean, we've heard the term. I've heard the term. I know the term.
right.
But from
Yeah.
your words, how would you, to someone that had no clue what any of
Right.
this was, what is an effective sales funnel?
So that's such a good question, and you're right that a funnel, the term funnel gets thrown around, but you can even just think of it as your a customer journey. And for us, we might think it, okay, well, they sign up for our lead magnet, and maybe they come to an event, and maybe they buy a low ticket. We think of it very linearly, but as your example, this person was all over the place, and so it's really is more like that. But basically, we want to be available to our people where they are, meeting them where they are. So yeah, having effective lead magnets, and we can get leads in other ways too. So like if you hold events, if you're running a webinar, any of those kind of things. So we need to have a way to acquire new leads. That's first and
So an
foremost.
opt-in page, like an opt-in page, get my
Absolutely.
freebie and they put their
Yeah,
name in. I've opted in on a million, so I know what those
exactly.
look like.
Yeah.
We've all
And
done that.
yeah, so you have to have some way that you are marketing and getting people into your environment. And then once they're in your environment, then because that's the capture part, then we move to nurture. We want to nurture that person. So that's going to look like email marketing. It can look like you reaching out to them too. So it can be more personal. It doesn't just have to be. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, automation is cold. And it does not have to be. It can absolutely, if you are speaking to their problem, then it won't feel cold to them. It'll feel very warm, like, oh, she gets me, that kind of thing.
And if they opted in, that's like qualifying because obviously they qualified that, hey, I'm interested.
Mhm.
So they have a want or a need or an interest in what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
So
And so now that they're in your environment, that is your opportunity to engage with them, give them great resources, make sure that they understand that you can solve their problem and they'll kind of stick around. And then you want us to get to the conversion piece. Now, conversion looks different. I think for me and for most of the clients I have, there's some kind of discovery call. So you're having a discussion. They're not just somebody going to a website and, you know, I mean, for a digital product, you're probably not going to have a
right.
sales call,
For a
right?
journal, like here's a $20
Yeah,
journal, go
yeah.
here and buy it.
But
But for
for a
most,
coaching or consulting or anything, which is most of my clients are, there's going to be a conversation because they want to make sure that you're the person that they want to work with, that they vibe with you. So then working with you for that for the structure of that call and be able to have that call and those handle those objections. But then there's the follow up. I guarantee you that the vast majority of people watching this right now have lost deals just because they didn't follow up. And that follow up can be a structured email sequence, but again, it can be personal outreach. It can be, during the conversation, maybe they mention something and you have a great resource to send them to help them answer that particular problem. So again, we're building those relationships and to get them
okay.
to that point where they're ready to convert.
Okay. Okay, well, you're giving me lots of really good notes that
Good.
I need to know. So this has been really informative for me. But one
Wonderful.
question I have, because I mean, I haven't seen anyone really explain like, oh, you should send out 3 emails a week or 2 emails a week or whatever, 3 emails a week, two with value, one with a conversion. I mean, I feel like I like structure. I like to like,
Mhm.
hey, this is what I need to be doing, 2 a week. I need to do one this, one that. So
Yeah.
my question for you is, do you always offer on every email, do you recommend on every email having some type of next step call to action to
I
convert?
I
Like,
think you
oh,
absolutely can. You're probably gonna have, some emails that are a sales email because you're right, you're gonna be sending relationship building and sharing information and that, getting to know you through that process. But I think on any email, you can say, "If you'd like to discuss this further, you know, book a call," if that is your conversion method. Yeah.
okay, yeah. 'Cause yeah, I mean, I've always people to people sales, so the whole email sales thing, and
Mhm.
I've had some people that are like, they blast it almost daily emails. I mean, I get some people that I'm on their email list and getting
I
it
know.
almost daily. What do you recommend? How many times a week or a month do you recommend?
I would do, as much as you need to be effective, and I know that's kind of a mealy mouth answer, but I would start with if you have a lead magnet, then you wanna have a nurture sequence for that. Once you have that done and you know that that's working for you, then you can really dig into the other kind of email marketing. But when whatever you choose, just pick one, but measure it. What are my open rates? Are they actually, getting to a booked call because they are engaging? One of the things I do on my email list, I don't email to people that haven't opened an email in the last 4 months, and it just keeps your list, clean.
What say that again?
I
Say
said
that again. You don't
yeah, so I can in my system, I can tell it not to send emails to anybody who hasn't opened an email in the last 6 months.
Oh, okay.
So I think, since in 6 months they haven't done anything. Now they're still on my list. So I do oh, my VA came up with the best name for it, and I can't remember what it's basically.
Like a
Opportunity,
re-engagement.
spark opportunity. That's what it is. So we'll run spark opportunity re-engagements, and so that way we'll send to them like once a quarter or something like that. And if we get them active again, then they'll just be on the regular list. But keeping your email list clean really helps your deliverability. A lot of people complain about not being able to get into the inbox, for example. And so keeping your list clean
Hmm,
instead of sending it people that never open really does help your reputation
okay.
for
All
that.
right. Okay. I have one more really, I think, good question.
Okay.
So on the email, do
Mhm.
you coach people and help people with best practices of what to email, what they should look like, what they should feel like, length, wording, communication,
Yeah.
kind of helping them? Because I mean, I can write one, but then I'm always like second guessing it. Is this too
Well,
wordy-girdy? Is it too much value? Is it too salesy? Is it too this? Is it
right.
too that?
Yeah. So yeah, we have a couple of different sets of frameworks that we give to our clients to get them started. But what you described is exactly what happens. A lot of people won't do any emailing because they for those second guessings that you just listed. Like, I don't know, want to be annoying. That's the one I get the most. I don't want to bother people. I'm like, well, we're building a list, and I joke that your email list is kind of like a self-cleaning oven. People are, they were like, my feelings are going to get hurt if they unsubscribe, but you want a nice, clean, engaged. Um,
So it's a good thing if they're not interested that they unsubscribe. Like it's
yeah,
like high fives
yeah,
to that. You're cool
no,
with
and
it.
that really used to bother me. I think because people pleaser, and all that. But the fact is if they're not interested in what I have for them, then okay. I would rather have a smaller and engaged list than a vast list of all the wrong people.
Okay, all right. Well, I love all that. So let me ask you this. Do you prefer to work with new startups that may not have the patchwork of seven, a tech stack,
Mhm.
system? Or do you like to help people that are overwhelmed in using hodgepodge of
It
stuff and they need just to clean it up and get kind of everything tidied up? Which
um
do you prefer? Or both either.
I like both. I definitely have a heart for newer businesses, but I think our sweet spot really is for those people. They've been in business for a couple of years. They're getting clients, but they've hit maybe a plateau. Like, I can't work any more hours, but I'm not getting, consistent sales or not getting enough sales. And it's because they don't have a really good system for connecting and stuff. And so being able to move them from, like you said, those patchwork, I always call them duct tape systems, to one
Uh-huh.
system. And the relief they have, number one, only having one login, only having to pay one bill every month, but they also get strategy sessions with me. So they're not like, oh, what do I do? Like with our Sprout and Scale system, like we have daily, weekly, and monthly revenue routines. So they don't have to think about, well, who do I need to follow up with? What do I need to be doing? And that just reduces their stress all the way around.
All right. Last question, I think.
Okay. Okay. I'm here. You can
These
ask as many as you
yeah,
want.
yeah, yeah. This is all good. I'm always, interested in perspectives and ideas and
Mhm.
tips, and so this is a tip question.
Mhm.
Because and we've talked about it, and one of the things that I do is I help people attract more leads, grow their social presence,
Mhm.
grow their audience, grow their visibility,
Yeah.
grow their list,
Mhm.
because you do wanna grow your list.
Yes,
If you don't have
it's a
anyone to talk
must.
to, you're not gonna convert.
Exactly.
So and at once they do sign up for that, that appointment, that
Mhm.
discovery call, you also want to know how to convert those people too. So that's
Mhm.
where I come in. So yeah, I
Mhm.
do
Exactly.
the front end and the back end.
Yeah.
But my question to you, what tips do you have, or do you encourage your clients to help them grow their list? If they're like, well, how do I grow my list? I don't even know where to grow my list. I don't have a big audience. I don't, have a small social media presence. What do you recommend?
Okay. Well, I would always recommend him having a conversation with you because it's just that important. And that's not my expertise. I mean, I've learned so much about sales and marketing. But yeah, I would definitely say, hey, have a conversation with Becky. But I would also say one of the things that's great about our system is, we have a social media planner and poster scheduler, and we can watch what is effective. See, this is the thing. So much of us are just throwing spaghetti at the wall and we don't know what's being effective. So now if you do it in a mindful way and can see what's engaging. And then if it's not working, then we pivot, we move it to something else. I have an example. Like I did a lead magnet last year and I called it a blueprint. Crickets. Nobody was interested in it. But then I renamed it to a mini course. It was exactly the same thing. I just changed the name and then people were signing up
Things are
for it. So it's not because you don't have a good idea or whatever. But the other thing is I cannot tell you how many people I know that have lead magnets and they don't ever promote them. They're not
they
promoting
never
them on social. They're not,
Mhm.
put it as a link in your signature, post them in groups, share them with your networking people. There's all of this opportunity. You have a great lead magnet, use it. If you don't have one that's great, we can have a conversation about that. I help with my clients if they're
Yeah.
stuck and help them come up with ideas for that sort of thing too. But
Yeah.
if you've got a
Yeah.
lead magnet, you got to promote it.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too.
But also events. Events are a great way, to build your list, whether
Yeah,
that's a virtual
yeah,
event or in person, because when you're the person at the front of the room that's running the show, you
yeah.
have a certain amount of authority when you're in that position, and it gives them an opportunity to get to know you, and that's also a great way to build your list.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So I just my tip that I always share is I build a Facebook group. So as people
Yeah.
come into my Facebook group, I have a system and I give a freebie away. They have to opt in for the freebie by giving me their email. Boom,
Mhm.
that collects it.
Yep.
Also, if you do, you can have your calendar system. So if you hold a lot of discovery calls, coffee chats,
Yeah.
getting to know you
Yep.
calls, you can
Yep.
attract those leads through that system
Mhm.
as well because
Yep.
you are nurturing them through the
Ex
appointment book. So those
exactly.
are a couple of things.
Yep.
So, I have to say I've known Denise for a while. We've worked together. She's an ambassador in my group.
Mhm.
We've had lots and lots and lots of conversations and sales
Mhm.
conversations.
Yep.
And I have to give you a shout out and just say what I love about you and what you do because there are a lot of go high level people out
Oh,
there. There's a lot of
absolutely.
automation
Mhm.
people. But you are easy to work with. You're
Thank
easy
you.
to connect with and easy
Thank
to
you.
communicate. And Denise truly has a heart and to help people and to serve people and to bring value. I mean, it's that teacher in you.
Yes, it's the
And
teachers. Mhm,
yeah, and she has high touch in everything that she does.
mhm.
So if you're like me, if you're one of those confused, stressed out people when it comes to technology, it's really wonderful to have people like Denise that can fill in the blanks and be there and support you and
Mhm.
handhold you and work you through the system. So
Exactly.
that's what I love about you. What do
Thank
you,
you.
besides that, what do you
Mhm.
think sets you apart from all those other, other people out there?
I think definitely the personal touch, definitely. I joke all the time, you'll never get Mr. HubSpot on the phone, but you can get me on the phone, and I think that's a distinct difference, and I know a lot of people that do have high-level agencies, and some of them are higher touch like mine, but very, very few. Most are, you buy a tool and then good luck, and that's incredibly frustrating. I mean, I guarantee you people that are watching, they have several pieces of technology they've never really even set up, much less get them to work together. And
Mm,
I don't want them spending time on that. I want to be able to take that headache off of them and they just have a system that helps them produce money and, produce new clients instead of pulling their hair out.
and it's like having a salesperson on your team.
It is. It is very much like that.
That's
Yeah.
out there doing calls and messaging and communicating and, and yes, you do have to pull the trigger a little bit and create some of the system.
Mhm,
Now another question,
mhm.
how much time should someone be spending on automation, the automation piece of building their business, a day or a week?
Well, if we build it, they will spend no time building automations. They would go in and go to their sales pipeline and follow up with their people, go to their networking pipeline and follow up with their people there.
Wow,
And
I
they're
like that.
promoting. So one of the things that we have in our system, if you've heard of mini chat, we have built in our system similarly. So we can have, I've got this great guide, comment the word guide below, and I'll send it to you. And our automations will do that. We set all that stuff up for our
Wow.
clients. We don't want them to have to do that stuff. But another thing I think that sets us apart too is I'm not just focused on the tech. I'm focused on the strategy around it. And, a confused mind does nothing. So if I can help my clients get clear on who their clients are, what are their pain points, and what do they actually need solved, then really all that marketing stuff becomes easier. The sales become easier. Marry that with some technology. And so
Boom.
what I call our revenue routines, to answer your question more directly, is about 3.5 hours a week to maintain your
Okay.
your system.
Cool. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. And the Sprout and Scale system.
Mhm.
And I know it is a 1 month setup. So there's an initial investment for the 1 month,
Yep.
which was not a high dollar,
No.
not, yeah, definitely a very, very affordable for what you get.
Mhm.
I mean, if you want to share it, you're more than welcome to share it. If you
Mhm.
want to come and talk to Denise, if you want the details.
No, I'll say, because we just built this system, I've had a couple of clients through it now. We will be raising but we have an onboarding fee of 997, but it sets up, like I said, everything from your appointments to your contracts and e-signatures, all the way through to getting reviews, posting reviews for you on your social media. We do the whole thing for you. And so, yeah, that can happen in, like I said, 30 days or less for
And the ManyChat
997.
thing, does it set up that? Does it set
I'm
up the
sorry, what?
ManyChat thing? Does it
We
set
do,
up the
yeah,
many?
we have those automations in there so we can set them. Yeah, we'll set up one of those, but then they just copy it and do
Right,
as
right.
many of those as they
Okay.
want.
All right. And then it's what, 199 a month or something like
Yeah,
that?
so I have
Dollars.
3 different levels. 197 is our entry, and that is if you don't want any additional VA support team. So I have a VA, and so a lot of people would say, I don't want to do the things. So for example, one of my coach clients sent me this morning. She's got a new lead magnet. She wants a new form. I put everything together for her because that's just we have that time built in. So it just depends on what
Right.
kind of level. But yeah, 197 a month, and that we don't charge that until the second month. So you're not paying for the software
Nice.
while we're setting it up. It starts that second
Cool.
month.
Yeah. All right. So really your setup fee is like
Mhm.
800
Mhm.
because
Yeah,
you would
yeah,
normally pay
yeah,
197.
yeah, yeah, and
So
so we will be raising that at the first of the year,
cool.
but for right now, that's where
I
we
love
are,
it.
and we may, we may raise our monthly too, but for right now, just so we can get some folks through and, get them set up and work out a few more little kinks improving our onboarding. But yeah, I think that's a steal. I would have paid that 5 times over to get my stuff set up if
Oh
in a
yeah,
different
trust me,
scenario.
I've done some of it. I know. It's not, it
Yeah,
is time consuming. It
it
is
is.
not fun. I 100% agree.
And if you're doing all the tech stuff, then you're not selling, you're not connecting. And really, I mean, that's every business needs to be doing the marketing and the
Mm,
selling.
mhm, mhm.
Oh, and
Okay.
working with
All right.
clients too. We gotta work with clients too.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, Denise.
Oh,
I
thank you.
love working with you. I love what you do. And for all of you out there that are watching the video, make sure to connect with Denise. She has a wealth of knowledge and
Thank you.
expertise and so kind and generous with her time. Book a coffee chat, get to know her, book a
Yeah.
discovery call, see how she can help you.
Mhm.
And yeah, we're here to help you. I'm here as well. And
Yeah.
so, again, thanks, Denise. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Denise, for your time. All
Thank you for
right.
having me, Becky. I really appreciate it.
No worries. You have a great day, and I'll talk
Thank
to everyone later. All right,
thank
we'll
you.
see ya.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.